By the way, Duke Nukem, I made a new intro out of spite.
We're men, and we're not afraid to say that we love other men.
What up, G?
My life is nothing I thought it should be and everything I was worried it would become, because for 50 seconds I thought there was monsters on the world.
What Augean stable of misery do you live in if you fantasize about driving a bus or sitting on a bench? What's next, a breakfast eating simulator? Oh, careful, not to burn your digital toast. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go play an office simulator. Oh, no wait, that's my job.
Whoa, I think I just figured something out, Beavis. What? This sucks. Yeah, it really sucks. This sucks more than anything that I've ever sucked before.
Don't say no for an answer. There's no
Can I see more white women getting clotheslined, please?
People don't understand. People don't understand. People like me. 'Cause these eyes can see right through you. Don't be surprised.
So Snoop Dogg wins the match because Shane McMahon blew his knee out.
Damn, that was bad, bro.
People don't understand. People don't understand. No, people don't understand. People don't understand. No, people don't understand. People don't understand. People like me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How'd you like that new intro, huh, Duke? I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that one. Duke tried to give us crap a couple weeks ago because of our anime intro. It's like, you know what? I'm going to do another one. I'm going to make it a permanent fixture on the show. How about that? But we are here live another Tuesday night here on the Barroom Podcast, episode 84. And we have a special guest joining us here tonight. Such a special guest that even brought Nerdigans in to grace her presence once again here on this show. So let's go ahead and introduce our good buddy Lofty Pixels joining us, making his Barroom debut. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm pretty good. Just kind of trying to navigate the chaos of the news cycle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been quite a week, and it's been quite a week for everyone. It feels like with everyone, whether it's like pro wrestling or sports or localizers, all kinds of stuff. It's like everything's just blown up this week. It's been a pretty crazy week. But here to talk to us about that week's our good buddy Orange Hat joining us again. How you doing tonight, Orange?
Doing well.
And of course, somewhere home of the San Francisco 49ers, who are now in the Super Bowl, our good buddy Nerdigans. How you doing today?
I'm dealing with a fussy kitty, so if you hear him meowing, I'm really sorry.
Oh boy,
I don't know why.
That could be taken in so many ways.
You literally have to avoid the obvious layups.
He knows what I'm talking about. He's a smart cat. smart cat.
For the record, that is an actual cat that we're making innuendos about, not a fictional cat.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So obviously we'll have a couple people also joining us in. I mean, obviously Rick's gonna be late as usual, but we're gonna go ahead and get started without him. But first off, let's go ahead and introduce our guys who are waiting patiently with us in the chat as we start to trickle in here tonight. Our good buddy Neozoic here saying, "Howdy, barroom crew and the good folks in the chat. Fun question: which famous greatest director filmography would you rather watch? Stanley Kubrick or Alfred Hitchcock?" Who I would personally lean towards Kubrick. That's my personal opinion. I think he has a lot better movies in his filmography than Hitchcock. Like I said, that's just me. What about you guys? Who would you rather go with?
I'd have to flip a coin for that one.
Is this like forever and I can never watch the other person?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh boy. Definitely Kubrick.
Yeah,
I like both, but yeah, that's hard.
I know it is hard because
Hitchcock made so many.
Yeah, he made so many classics. But yeah, I got to go with Kubrick mainly for the variety of stuff in his filmography compared to Hitchcock.
And then a bonus question from Neo here saying, who would win in a wrestling match, Sting or The Undertaker in their prime? Obviously, growing up as more of a WWF fan than a WCW fan, even though I did like WCW, I'm always gonna favor The Undertaker over Sting. But ironically enough, WWE had one opportunity, one last chance to actually make this match happen in real life. It was WrestleMania 31 back in 2015, where they had Sting and The Undertaker in the same company at the same time, and they opted not to go with the match. So that was the closest we had ever came for having Sting and The Undertaker in reality, and WWE chose not to do it. They chose to put Triple H over Sting instead because they're stupid. So,
honestly, I've said it so many times already, so I'm not going to say. All I'm going to simply say is what Stan Lee once said: whoever the directors and writers want to win will win.
Mm-hmm. But still, I agree.
So, yeah.
Just throwing that out there. But who else is joining us?
I mean, hell, I'd root for The Undertaker if I was a kid again and I watched wrestling, but I'd root for The Undertaker. But yeah, it's whoever they want to win is going to win.
Yeah. Like I said, we got some other wrestling related content to talk about here tonight. Nothing about like actually anything going on in the ring, more outside of the ring in a very, very dirty manner, quite literally dirty. Vanya's joining us here tonight. Also came from last night as well. Poop. Neozoic obviously here with us. Drax the Clown is joining us here tonight. Duke Nukem finally joining us in here saying no chance in hell. Oh yeah, Duke, go back and watch the intro there. I made one specifically for you. Who else do we have here? RoboCop MK2 joining us here. So that's a big cat. Yeah, she's
Mark.
Yeah. So we have this thing here with the bar room where apparently all of the ladies here have cats, and I don't know if that's a reflection on the women that we choose to have on this show, or it's just a statement of the fact. But yes, every single one of them has a giant cat that likes to run up on the screen occasionally. So Bonnie Rad joining us here tonight as well. So like I said, we're here tonight on YouTube, on Rumble, and on X. I guess we can just call it X now. I mean, it's still called Twitter, but it's still called X. Who cares? It's like whatever the case may be, that's what we're going to call it here. And then yeah, I do have a couple of, I guess, announcements to make towards the end of the show about some shows that we're moving around. I may have talked about it a little bit last night, but I want to make sure that you guys here in the bar room will worry about it. This show's not going to change, so don't worry about that. This show's not changing at all. It's the other two shows that will move around in the coming months. But let's go ahead and just do a quick little rundown on our good buddy Lofty here. Your first time here on the show, so for some of the people here who may not be as familiar with you, I know you have your own channel, you got your own setup, you've done a whole lot on YouTube over the last several years here. So just kind of give people a rundown of kind of the content that you specialize in and kind of what you do.
Yeah, I have a channel on Lofty Pixels. It's sort of like a solo podcast. Weekly, I do video game, anime, movie content. I just talk about like kind of like this, but just solo, because I like to talk with my chat. I just have I enjoy it. Yeah. So but then also I just do a bunch of random podcast appearances, Flashcast, Little Platoon, Hypnotic, pretty much anybody. I'll just go on anyone's stream and talk. I have a lot of hobbies, so that's why I get invited to random streams. I could talk about sports. I think we're talking about sports tonight, and yeah, so
a little bit.
basically. Yeah, I just kind of float around, and I also do freelance video editing for you random YouTubers. Yeah, it's fun. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, it's good to have a little bit of a diversity in your repertoire too. It makes you be able
Yeah.
to appear in a lot more content. You know, unlike some people here who I won't single out for any particular reason at all. But yeah, like I said, I had a shout out from you from Yellow Flash. Obviously, yeah, just reappeared on his channel recently, and he was giving an invite. It's like, yeah, I'd love to have Lofty on here, so I contacted you. You were able to come on, so we have to pick up some stories here tonight we can talk about. I'm sure you have some good insight in, and I guess we should start off with there's a number of stories involving localizers this week, so we're going to be going through just a handful of them here, but pretty much it feels like, I guess, American, what's the best way to describe this? I guess a lot of the social justice American influence is starting to rein in on Japan, and I'm wondering if it's the fact that we've gotten to a point where, because they have so much power and influence, that Japan is unironically believing that this is somehow what Americans want in order to sell things, or if this is the whole thing's just gone astray here. So let's start off with the Sega story here, because this is the first one that hit my I guess newsfeed this week. I know Cassie did a video about it earlier tonight. I wanted to have her on, but she was working obviously, so she couldn't make it on. But Sega official account criticized for questionable localization methods. Now, I know, Norgans, this is your forte, so I'm gonna go ahead and just read a little bit here. Sega's official social media got an overwhelming amount of negative criticism after linking an article confirming that their games are censored based on Western localizers. The official Sega account linked an article which confirmed that the executive producer for the Like a Dragon series asked our Western team to read their game scripts and tell them what wasn't acceptable. And for those not familiar, the Japan website, the Japanese Times, had Western localizers admitting to censoring content in the West. What's this? Frenak Giddy here, a senior localizer for Bandai Namco, claimed that the Me Too movement has changed mindsets. He says that we tell them that the cleavage is a bit too exposed, that the skirt is a bit too short. Before, they weren't very flexible, but they've become more proactive on such subjects here in the West, which is not exactly a good thing, because look, the whole reason why people go to Japan for their content is because it's not westernized. Now here we have, at least in the Western region, they're essentially bending the knee quite a bit here, it seems like, with some of these projects. Examples of this are why many despise Western localizers, because they contain certain sects in the West that are obsessed with political correctness and are hell-bent on circulating the content of adults, telling them what they can and can't enjoy, explaining the content that is offensive and must be changed. Now, I know Sega was implicated in this. Obviously, this is the official account from the Sega account. I'm thinking to myself here too, you know, I noticed this with how many guys here played the game Streets of Rage 4. Do you guys remember that game? Came out a few years back.
Streets of Rage? I don't think I've played it, but I think I know what it is.
Yeah. So essentially what happened with Streets of Rage is that somebody, like, Streets of Rage was a very popular Sega Genesis era franchise like 30 years ago, and Sega, after, you know, the Dreamcast failed and they stopped making hardware consoles, pretty much forgot about the entire franchise. Somebody had made, I guess, a fan game where they combined all the elements of all three games and kind of like modernized it and whatnot, and it's actually really, really good. You can argue it's probably the best Streets of Rage game out there that you can play, but because of this happened, Sega was like, well, we can't let somebody else essentially make a success off of our product. They came out with Streets of Rage 4, and playing Streets of Rage 4, it felt like to me that they were really trying to play up a lot of the details in their character designs and in their stories to fit more of the quote-unquote Western audience. And I have noticed this from Sega over the last few years too, with some of the statements that they made over the years. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this one over to you, because this is only part one of a story that we have here. We do have a follow-up to this one as well, but I guess, Lofty, we can start this one off of you. What are your take on Sega's essentially bending to Western sensibilities? This is the best way to say it here.
Yeah, it's scary and dumb and kind of alarming, and it's I don't know. I really want to know what kind of conversations these people are having, like I want to know like exactly what they're talking about, because I wonder if if they're straight up bullying these like game developers like emotionally into like you know what I mean? Like, how else are you going to convince somebody to like remove a skirt? Like, what are you going to tell them? Like,
yeah,
you're being insensitive. You should know better. This is 2024. Like, what are they saying to these people?
Well,
It's
just
so cringe. Yeah.
Just real quick, and I'll shoot it back to you. This is what I think is happening here. It's like for years they tried to essentially use the tactics that they use here in the United States on Japanese companies, and I think they realize that by and large it's going to fail. Like they're not going to win trying to quote unquote cancel Japanese developers to do things that they want to do. So they've essentially changed their approach where they can be like, well, we can convince the Japanese developers that, well, this is exactly what American audiences actually want, even though the overwhelming majority of American audiences actually despise this. Then they can get them to at least course correct or get them to do what they want to do, essentially by convincing them that this is actually what Americans want. This seems to be the tactic change that I've noticed. Have you noticed this as well?
Yeah. I mean, I don't notice it in the games necessarily that I've been playing, but it's definitely happening. And I think it's a problem that we need to stop and prevent from like exploding, because it's already all over the place in the West.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if Japan is bending the knee to it, it's not good.
Yeah,
and
I
it
mean,
probably
they're literally.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh well, I was going to say it probably extends to other things like film and maybe even manga eventually at some point. I hope not, but
no, it's not going to go to manga. I can explain why too, because basically the Jump Plus editor Hasano, he said this was like after New York Comic Con, I believe. He said that people were asking him about the overseas influence and stuff like that, and he had to specifically say, "Look, we're manga's doing well overseas." And when he says overseas, he's not talking specifically about America. Nah, like compared to like say France, Germany, Spain, Latin America, that's where all the manga sales and anime sales are at. The US is nowhere close to it, because if it was, they would be licensing as many titles as France is, and I want to say they license at least like 10 a week or something like that. It's insane on how much they license, and they promote anime and manga constantly in France. I mean, there's even a Naruto coin, for Christ's sake. And serious. They're really serious about it. And same with Latin America. I saw this on Twitter earlier. Dragon Ball is a huge thing for them. Same with Saint Seiya. Those are big series in Latin America compared to the US, because they promote them constantly. But anyways, but in terms of video games, I've known about it for at least a year, because I've, some of the people I'm friends with are developers, and these Western consultants have been around in the video game sphere for, I want to say, since like 2016, 2017 ish. And they've been trying, someone at Crunchyroll told me at Crunchyroll Expo in 2018 that it's been the same for anime as well. But based on my discussions I've been having with my Aniplex insider, they ain't doing anything.
So there's an interesting like twist that I've seen here too, because like I said, I don't put it this way. Cider brought this up yesterday. I thought it was a very good point that he made. It's like when you look at the current state of Japan right now, they're kind of in what we like to call a population crisis at the moment, which means their population, they're coming to the realization that they're going to have a population collapse if they're not already in the descent of one right now. So when you're talking about them building talent for their own homegrown audience, they're going to realize here in the near future that they're not going to have as much people in Japan to sell this product to, which means that outsourcing and essentially selling overseas is going to be more important to them. And if they're coming to this realization that, apparently Americans, they don't want provocative things like anymore, and they want things covered up, they want things to talk about certain topics and things like that, which basically just means that we're injecting social justice into the Western version of these properties, thinking that this is exactly what they want. They're going to do it under the guise that we have to appeal to the Americans because they're the ones who are buying our product at mass more than what we're getting at our own homegrown market here. So this is a problem that I feel like is going to come more in the past over the next few years, as that shift really starts to happen and they start to focus a little bit more towards the overseas market than the homegrown Japanese market. You guys, I think I'm clear on that one.
Well, with video games, I know that's been the case and that will be the case. But anime, that's not happening according to my sources. And the other thing with anime localization that I learned is that once it leaves the studio, the director has no idea. The studio has no idea what's going on. So if you see any censorship in anime, yeah, they don't know about it. And
well, yeah, like Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has people that are employed to do that, to take the work of the original person or studio and then change it.
Yeah, Viz does it too. I mean, we saw it with Bleach, where they had literally a separate localization for the Giselle and Yumachika scene, including having the Japanese voice actors voicing it too. So you could, and this was for the global version. So it wasn't just the US, it was for everywhere but Japan and Asia.
Yeah, well, in the manga sales are like 45% of all comic books in America. It's kind of wild. And so
that number has grown over the last 10 years too.
Oh yeah, like it's doubled since 10 years ago, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, anime. Yeah, so people are worried about localization. My one thing is that I think I totally understand people worrying about it. I don't think it's as prevalent as, I don't think it's an epidemic. Like I said, I haven't noticed it in anything I watch. I notice it more in video games, but I don't even notice it really much going on there. I think it's a problem that people are expecting to be like become like a major issue, and it's so I understand people like getting worried about it. I think with anime, it's like a couple. It's like Dragon Maid and a couple others that are like having some issues with localization, and then some obscure shows that most people don't watch are getting hit, and then like it's hard for me to like care at the moment. It's just I don't like it, but it's like if it was happening with Jujutsu Kaisen or with Demon Slayer or with Vinland Saga or with Ranking of Kings or any of the shows that I watch, I would be like, that's all I would be talking about all day long. But how about you, nerd? I was going to call you nerdrotic.
Fine.
Nerdigan.
But
do you watch any of these shows that are getting like ruined by localization?
I read I've been covering the manga that a lot of is getting ruined. I've been covering manga since like 2015, 2016-ish. And from what I've seen, there's the Jujutsu Kaisen, and I cover mainly the fan translations. It's been like that for a long time. What they've told me, and they've showed me this too, is that the Viz localization, and that's the case for One Piece as well, is mostly garbage. Same with My Hero Academia is having issues. But
I don't notice those. I wonder if it's
with manga, I've kind of figured out based on all the publishers that I've Viz and Seven Seas are the biggest problems that I've seen in terms of manga localization. And then for anime, it is obviously Netflix now based on the story I covered. Viz is definitely a problem, and Sentai Filmworks. Well, Katrina works for Sentai Filmworks, so you can understand why. There's that commonality between that and Seven Seas too. And then there's what's the other one I was thinking? Oh, and Crunchyroll. Yeah, so it's Crunchyroll, Viz, Sentai Filmworks, and Netflix are the ones having issues in terms of anime localization. But for Netflix, if you go VPN and watch it on like Asian Netflix, you don't see it. It's fine. It's the weirdest thing. Like News Asia was another one who has like a YouTube channel. You can watch the anime for free, no issues.
I think we even discovered this last night too, about how it's getting to a point where people are literally getting VPNs just so they can get like essentially like regional like streaming sites from like other countries, just as a way to, I guess, avoid like a lot of this stuff. Like, I think we were talking about literally imagine people like getting a VPN and getting like the Saudi version of like Netflix or something like that, and how much completely different it would be versus like what we see here in the United States. And people are going as far to do that now. I know that for a fact. But this is the second part of this discussion here, and this is Nerdigan's article, so I'm actually gonna let her take the lead on this.
About One Piece.
So about One Piece. So tell us a little bit about what happened here, because this is your article that you did for Bounty.
Basically with One Piece, and this is only on the Netflix English sub. The dub is fine. I had confirmation that the dub is fine. The Crunchyroll sub is fine, and The Funimation dub, I believe, is fine too, from what I remember. But basically, they what Netflix did, again, it's weird that's only the sub, that they changed New Kama into New Trans, which contradicts the manga, because what New Kama are, if I have to compare it to like a Western term, it's more like non-binary because they transcend gender. There's no gender with New Kama because they've both been male and female thanks to Ivankov's devil fruit power. But for some reason at Netflix, they decide to put new trans in there. I don't know what's going on over there. I really don't. But it's just the weirdest thing. And I've actually talked to people about other new Netflix anime and to see if there's any problems there. They're like, no, we're not having any issues. It's just One Piece right now, as far as I know.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand the nuance to that. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I found it randomly on Twitter. Someone posted, I was like, oh my God, you got to be serious. If Funimation got it right for the English dub, and it's fine on the English sub, which was originally on Funimation, and the English dub on Netflix is fine. What is this?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have found myself doing this more with Netflix. Look, you guys been here long enough to know how I feel about Netflix. I mean, if there's one company I probably despise more than Disney, it's Netflix. So when I've like watched when I find myself watching like foreign content, like I'll look at the subtitles. And I think to myself, wow, that line seems so bad. I have to go back and like watch like the sub version or the dub version to make sure that
right.
Is this exactly what the words here said? Is this something that they added like after on? And 9 times out of 10, I found out it was something that they added after on. It's like, okay, well that makes complete sense now. That's why it was garbage.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now with Akane Banashi. They put cancel culture up in there, so I checked the Spanish version, and this was while I was literally covering it. I was like, wait, something is off. Looked at the Spanish version, it was completely different in the Spanish version. I was like, yeah, I probably should post about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people are pissed about that. There's been more name changes, like with Spy Family, I think it was chapter 94. Yeah, but yeah, it's just more insanity coming from the Viz side. I mean, Twin Star Exorcist had, and I covered that too, had the mansplainer thing inserted. I was covering it, and I saw it. I was like, wait, what? This does not.
I do get a little blatant Rocky Horror Picture Show vibe from this, which I'm pretty sure is directly what they were referencing here. But yeah,
probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what Oda was doing. But yeah, Ivankov's Devil Fruit is basically, for those of you that don't watch or read One Piece, has the power to manipulate hormones and can literally change someone from their genetic makeup. So they could change their gender, their race, their eye color, like everything. Like, and even in the case of even in the case of Luffy, his what was it? It was his immune system. So yeah, Ivankov's power is very OP.
Sounds like an altered carbon almost.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely Tim Curry. But
Pretty
yeah,
sure they based that character off Tim Curry.
I wouldn't be surprised if Oda did that.
Yeah.
Like I said, these people definitely notice that, their influence here in the States is dying because they've essentially killed the mediums that they've taken over. And they've noticed, especially over the last, like I said, 10 years or so, that people have now moved elsewhere to find content. And I think they're trying to find a way to essentially infiltrate a lot of these companies so they can essentially infiltrate the influence that they have over there. And like I said, if the wrong person gets the ear of, these developers who are overseas, whether it's video games, whether it's, anime, movies, whatever the case may be, then yeah, they're going to essentially convince them that, oh yeah, this is exactly what Americans want. No, the Americans love this stuff. You want to make money, don't you? Well, this is what you have to do. And then the next thing you know, Americans here are like, what the hell is this? Like we literally went all the way to Japan to get away from this stuff, and now they're doing it too. That's because they're getting essentially bad intel about what exactly American audiences want. So I mean, I could definitely see this one. Go ahead.
The Palworld developers added type 1 and 2 body type because they said that they think Americans want that. So
well, that's because one of my friends told me this, is that it's because the consultants claim to be fans, but they just want to censor someone else's artwork over, the Western, well, as my friend put it, Western crybabies.
Basically,
so it's been really bad. It has because the Western consultants explained to them what content is considered problematic in our spectrum, and ironically, they scream diversity, but when something doesn't follow their views, they go censor happy against the art team.
Jeez, it's crazy.
Here's something that Japan needs to understand. If you continue to listen to these fools, we'll boycott your asses too. You'll start to lose money, and then you'll realize, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't listen to these fucking losers who are telling us to censor our fucking work. And maybe they might go back to normal. Because honestly, I do remember that Japan really honestly never really gave a shit what these people thought. And now, unfortunately, they're getting bad intel. So it's like, hey, you want to stop this? Nip it in the bud quick. Start a fucking boycott. Let them know publicly that a lot of people are going to boycott it. And when they ask why, let those people answer. It's because you are listening to the wrong people.
Well, as I said, that in the case of anime, the developers probably, I don't know if the actual creators know what's happening. Because in anime, as my Aniplex insider told me, once it leaves the studio, and yes, they do censor it for specific locations, like for Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. But this is in terms of translation. But once it leaves, they have no clue what's going on. So I've been sending them all my intel. So Aniplex, they know about a certain localizer. I've made sure of it. So if this certain localizer gets fired, it's because of me.
Well, we'll make sure you post a
here,
video
folks.
on Make sure you post a video on Twitter of you dancing on their grave. I want to see actual videos of it happen.
Somebody should do that overlap of Nerdican's face on Grant Gustin's face while he's sitting over the grave going like this or over that person's grave. So yeah, there you go.
Rick, before we jump over to our next topic, what is your concept of video games and or manga?
I like Donkey Kong.
What are you, retarded? I know you're not retarded. But what are you, Down syndrome?
I liked Superbook. That was my introduction to anime. I don't know. I have no opinion about this. I have no idea what any of you are talking about.
Well, we'll just sit tight here for a little bit because we got some other conversations coming up here in a bit. But let's jump over to this other one here about Nintendo and this game called, was it Palworld? Now, I only started hearing about this about a week ago, and it just kind of blown my mind. Apparently, this super successful game has been, I guess, slightly copying some popular properties here, that so much so that it's gotten the attention of Nintendo. We all know Nintendo will pretty much sue anyone with Just Cause, whether it's Just Cause or not. They just love the power of the lawyers over there. But Nintendo apparently threatens to go after Palworld's Pokemon modder for adding their non-licensed content to their game. So Nintendo has finally come for Palworld in a form that is issuing a takedown for a video of a mod that has swiped the Palworld's pals for Pokemon. It says, if you're not one of the 6 million players that this game has, has this game been around for a while? Did it just suddenly blow up overnight? Does anyone know?
It came out like earlier this month, and then it's been blowing up.
Yeah, I'm about 50 hours into the game. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, somebody else told me that they were like 50 hours in too. But I mean, I guess if you're looking for something to play other than like Fortnite and like Among Us, then yeah, this will probably be something that'll a good change of pace here. But Palworld's a multiplayer survival crafting game in which you use cute characters called pals to harvest resources and build structures. Oh yeah, and there's guns. So this is where the whole Pokemon with guns meme came from. If you guys have been paying attention to that over the course of the last week. Days with Palworld's early access launch, cosmic level popularity explosion. YouTube creator Toasted Shoes posted a short video on X, formerly known as Twitter. Is it formerly known as Twitter? I mean, you still, when you go to Twitter, it still says Twitter in the line. Why is it still formally? It doesn't make any sense.
I say Twitter.
I still say Twitter too. I refuse to conform to the X agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Screw Elon. Elon Musk. Anyway, Palworld already says that the Pokemon mod, already has a Pokemon mod. So his claim is a bit misleading to Palworld's developers. Pocket Pair. The game doesn't yet support mods, but there are plans to add mods support post-launch. Toasted Shoes made the mod exactly how sophisticated and hard is to say at the moment. Either way, there was hours of his post announcing the mod. Said Toasted Shoes posted that Netflix had filed a claim against the video, gotten it taken it down, and like I said, because fortunately it's only a mod, I'm not sure how much further that they can go with this. But like I said, just tread lightly when you deal with those Nintendo lawyers.
Yeah,
no, they do not.
They take down mods all the time. They've done it with Pixelmon and Minecraft. They took it down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no lawsuits or anything. They just take the mod. They ask them to take it down, and then they do. But yeah,
this is a pretty funny follow-up to this one. Palworld Pokemon mod returns with legally distinct pocket creatures after Nintendo's takedown. So includes everyone's favorite yellow rat. So essentially, they took the old mod and they modified all the people in it so that would be legally distinct and legit copyright-free pocket creatures. So like I said, we just talked about this in the follow-up.
It's funny because Palworld is already a legally distinct version of Pokemon.
Yeah,
it's like it doesn't make any sense.
But I love this part of the story because it's just basically like a double FU. It's like, okay, so you're gonna go after us for this. So essentially, we're going to craft a Blue Penguin, the beginning of the legally distinct pocket creatures on here. There's Yellow Rat, also featured other pocket-sized monsters. This is literally the Yellow Rat creature in there as well. Then of
that
course
looks like Rat Trap, to be honest.
It looks like something completely cursed, and that's why it's hilarious. But yeah, so there's like, okay, well, we want to play that game. We can play this game too. So it's like, yeah, now we have legally distinct pocket creatures. Now, somebody should trademark that name before it's gone. Like, I think somebody needs to jump on that fairly quickly here. But there's been a lot of debate and a lot of outrage back and forth about this topic here. It's like, are they threading the line here on legality, or is it basically just, hey, this is a harmless fan game and people have gravitated towards it? I think the fact that 6 million people are playing it now is what's raising so many eyebrows, because this game, no one had ever heard of it. I don't think anyone would have cared, but because it's blowing up now, especially in like the YouTube and the Twitch communities and Kick and stuff like that, now everyone's all like, oh, well, we got to have our lawyers look into this because we're not exactly sure if they're supposed to be doing this. And I think it's just a bunch of BS. But I'll shoot this one over here to Lothy. What is you've played a whole bunch of this game, so you know better than anyone. Like, what's kind of your take on the discourse on this Palworld game?
I'm one of the I've been getting into some arguments with people about it. I'm actually one of the people that thinks that Palworld basically I think Palworld ripped off Pokemon and they might be in trouble. I think it's pretty obvious they stole assets and remodeled them, which is distinctly different characters when you look at the final result. It's not Pikachu, it's another kind of version of it. But if you're in Japan, they have a different, it would be a Japanese lawsuit. So they have a totally different standard for fair use. They have a different standard for copyright. And I feel like a lot of people are just playing like armchair lawyers and kind of pretending that they know what's going on when they don't.
There's a lot of that going on right now.
In my opinion, it's pretty blatant. At the very least, it's extremely lazy game design. And I think it should be discouraged, because I think if you maybe I can show you my screen here.
Yeah, you can screen share,
for example, I was trying to find a better one, but this one might be where's it at here? Here it is. Whoops.
All right, here we go.
Oh, let me go to my bookmarks. Hold on.
No.
Here we go. So it's this one right here that is causing all the problems. Oops, where's it at? Oops. Oh man, it's not working. It keeps going back. But basically, I don't know if you can see this. These models are almost identical. Now they're laying them over top of each other, but
yeah.
A lot of 3D artists are coming in and talking about how essentially this is almost impossible without directly referencing the original model.
Yeah.
To make something so identical. And then another part of it is
like somebody hand traced it, right?
Hand tracing. They could have brought it in to Blender and then just tweaked it. And that's probably what they did because if you know anything about this game, they had limited resources. The development of this game, they had like no resources. They had people working who didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to use Unity. They didn't know how to. They've every game prior they've purchased assets. They've never made their own assets before. So everything leads me to believe that they just copied Pokemon models and tweaked them because it saved time and money. So if that's the case, Nintendo might have honestly, they might have some leeway with some sort of lawsuit. I just think it's lazy game design. Like the other one is like, where's the other one? It's like they're showing it here. It's the same exact. They're going back and forth between the two, but there's almost no difference between Like and Rock and then the other one. And like I said, they made the head a little bit smaller and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, that's kind of my take. A lot of people, I don't know. A lot of people are sort of angry because they don't like Pokemon and they think like anyone calling out Palworld is like some sort of Nintendo fanboy, which is ridiculous, but that's what it's kind of the pushback I've been getting from people.
I mean, look, you're talking to someone who stopped playing Pokemon after Gold and Silver, so I don't even know how this thing survived 25 years after I stopped playing it. Nerdigans, what's your take on the whole Palworld situation here?
Well, I feel like what happened is based on Nintendo's statement that a whole bunch of angry Pokemon, I want to call them Zoomers because goddamn, they won like a bunch of them. Basically filed a complaint about it, and they did a mass complaint campaign to Nintendo's inquiry inbox, and that's what's really gotten their attention. Now, do I think that they have a lawsuit on their hands? I'm not a lawyer. I don't know Japanese law very well.
Right.
So Japanese copyright very well compared to like US. So I'm not sure if they can sue or not, and if they do, it'll probably. My guess would be in the Japanese courts since it is a Japanese game. So technically from what I've seen, but yeah, it all like all these armchair lawyers are not thinking, okay, this is Japanese, but this is not American law we're dealing with. We're dealing with Japanese law. So it doesn't apply. So that's what really just bugged the hell out of me on the discourse. And yeah, I've seen people go after people's, oh my God, what not Macari. What was the other one? Crap.
Verlicify? Oh wait,
not Etsy. There we go. They've been going after fan artists, Etsy stores and stuff like that, and they're saying that like fan art and people selling fan art and plushies, homemade plushies, is considered copyright infringement, and it's just like, no, you don't.
That's dumb.
You guys are stupid. The way they labeled it, the way the fans have labeled it and all that, nah. And especially since it's handmade stuff too, no.
It's stupid.
These people don't know what is what anymore. I
just think it's lazy game design. I think I would like to see original, because the problem is the game has a bunch of original designs, like a lot. Mm-hmm. And for some reason they have like, I don't know, like 20 to 30 things that are identical to Pokemon, and that's causing all the controversy. They should have just got rid of those and made their own original monsters. And because the game borrows heavily from like Ark Survival Evolved, RimWorld, Breath of the Wild, Elden Ring. The game is like an amalgamation of like it has like no original ideas. It's just like taking good things from a bunch of different games and putting them together, which is why it's selling so much. It's 9 million copies or something.
Mm-hmm.
Already. So,
but then again, anything remotely associated with Pokemon seems to sell a crap ton too. So I mean, maybe they knew exactly what they were doing with that one. So
probably Pokemon with guns. Yeah.
Well, like the thing for me is in regards to this, it's kind of like I posted about this too. It's kind of like remember when Infamous came out and Prototype came out, and everyone was comparing it to that, and like that Prototype was basically the poor man's version of Infamous or Dante's Inferno and God of War, because they came out around the same time on a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. You have that kind of situation going on, and it's like that's what it's kind of reminding me of. Or Tomb Raider and Uncharted, that's another one too. And I don't, and someone brought up GTA and Saints Row as well. And I think I mentioned it too. It's like you don't see these companies going after. You don't see Rockstar going after Epic Games. You don't see Insomniac going after Prototype. You don't see Sony Santa Monica going after Dante's Inferno. So it's so ridiculous to see these fans do that.
Well, I understand where you're saying. I don't think people would be doing that if it wasn't for the designs. Like, if I'll pull my screen again because I have a better example here.
Yeah.
I don't think people would be doing it if it was just like a copied game mechanic, like Dark Souls spin-offs or GTA spin-offs. But like, this is what people are upset about. Like, they directly stole assets. Now, this one's not stolen. It's heavily inspired by. But all of these are unbelievably identical, and it's like, this doesn't happen in GTA. This doesn't have, this stuff is exclusive to
it's like the Electabuzz one. It's like, come on, you didn't even try on that one.
Yeah, you didn't even try. Like, this one is literally an owl called Robin Owl or something, and it's the same exact concept from Pokemon. And it's like some of these are different.
Well, that one looks different.
Yeah, this is totally different.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are very freaky similarities. Like this one is so obvious. It's just now,
do you think if they went the route of like outright parody of Pokemon, that they would probably be in better standing if it was just like we were just straight up mocking Pokemon?
Yeah.
They would get taken down though because there would be too many. Like I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Like imagine he came out and it was like, literally, we're gonna call this like legally acceptable like pocket monsters, and then these were the designs. So you think that he would have a better standard?
I'm sure Nintendo shoots that stuff down all the time. There's probably thousands of times every year that they have to like sue people for copyright. I wouldn't be surprised.
That one looks different.
Yeah, this is different. Like this person's just listing all of them. A lot of them are like, that's different. That's not really. That's sort of similar, but it's not.
Yeah. I can't even recognize half of these fucking Pokemon because I stopped Gen 3, man.
You know what it is? It actually mirrors the problem with Pokemon in general. It's like Pokemon started off as like, how many did they have? 150, right? Then it went to 151. Then it went to 250. Then somehow it ended up getting to about 900. So then it was like, well, we already blew our best designs like 300 ago. So it's like, well, I don't know, just start scribbling stuff and make a Pokemon out of it. That's what it feels like. Like halfway in, they just gave up.
Yeah, I mean, I like all the newer designs, but I mean, I also caught all of them, so I think a lot of people are unaware of some of the better designs in the later games.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can't. They have to come up with, like, now there's a keychain Pokemon, so it's really random. But
Neil has a question here. So, what do you think about the counter argument that Palworld is a Pokemon ripoff, but Pokemon is basically a ripoff of what is that Tensai series?
The Shin Megami series.
Yeah.
Pokemon was inspired by Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior. Pokemon was inspired, but those designs, like I keep saying this, they're not identical wireframes. Like if you bring them into Blender, it's not going to be identical. So that's the problem. The problem is that I don't care about inspiration. If you look at The Lion King, they were heavily inspired by, what is it called? Kimba?
Yep.
Japanese animation. So inspiration to me is fine. If it's like, but when you have a Pocket Monster game that is downloading Pokemon model assets and then tweaking them in their game development, it's different than just being inspired by something. It's just totally different. Like when Pokemon made their Pokemon based off of, like, they were inspired by some Dragon Quest monsters. Well, they didn't take the model from the Dragon Quest game and then like alter it slightly, and then like that would have been shady and lazy, and that would have been bad. I think they made their own version of it. Then
of course Neil was talking about PETA going after.
Oh, that's like so funny. Oh my god.
Who takes PETA seriously anymore at this point? Like, is that even worth answering as a question? It's like,
you're trying to like say that. I think they were trying to say the developers are like the Team Rocket.
Yeah, animal abuse because you can murder a fantasy creature. Like, what? It's so stupid.
But especially based on the game that it's based off of, it's a really, really stupid argument.
Yeah.
All these people who are complaining really need a reality check, man.
It's funny because the creatures that they're the characters that they're defending, these little monsters that they're defending, have like the most basic artificial intelligence brains. Like they're it would be one thing if like AI was so advanced where it's almost sentient and there's like this moral quandary of like, do we kill AI? Like, is that ethical? But no, we're not there yet. Like, PETA, what are you doing? It's amazing. Anyway,
Drax here, which says, would you rather play Sonic 06 or Suicide Squad? Should we
God.
roll over to the Suicide Squad
Yeah,
portion
this
of it
is
just
so
real quick?
wild.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: everyone's upset at Suicide Squad video game because they killed Batman, and this happens to be what's his name, Kevin Conroy's last.
Conroy,
It's not. They confirmed it's not Kevin Conroy's last role. There's like
no,
two
there's one more or two. Yeah.
Yeah, there's two more.
Okay. So, I mean, that pretty much takes away like all the sting out of, you know, oh my God, they killed Batman in the Suicide Squad Kills Batman game. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they did tell you what they were going to do. So, I mean, I don't know why people would be upset about it now, but it's like, because everyone thought that, oh no, this is the last time we were going to see this iconic voice actor play this character, and he's being shot in the head in this bastardized Suicide Squad game. People were super upset about it. And I was just like, I mean, I know, I understand that, like I said, that when he died and they thought that this is the last thing, I understand people being uncomfortable by that, but I don't particularly think they did anything wrong with this. Like I said, this was the setup and the premise of the game from the jump. The fact that the guy died before its release was kind of like an unrelated, like, you know, kind of inconvenience. But I don't know, am I being a little too passe on this one?
Well, they said, from what people have said, is they don't like how Batman was killed here in comparison to, say, Gotham Knights. And a lot of people are upset is because this is in the Arkham universe. A lot of people are not considering it part of the Arkham universe.
It's canon. It's canon.
But people are saying that this Batman is so beloved, and this is separate from Kevin Conroy's voice acting. It's just this character, this version of Batman is so beloved, and to see him done dirty like this, and like the only superhero to get a decent written death was Wonder Woman, it just really pissed people off.
Yeah, he died in, what was it, Gotham Knights or Arkham Knight or what was it again?
It was Gotham Knights.
Yeah, he died in Gotham Knights, and then for this game they brought him back to life so they could kill him again in a really sort of a corny way. So the argument is that this game just has horrible writing, and they sort of like and it shouldn't be considered canon, and it is. So it's like, why did they do that? You know, it doesn't matter that they kill Batman, because they could do that. Who cares? Also, Batman was brainwashed in this game. So like the whole game, so is everybody. That's why they have to kill them. I don't know. To me, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not like a diehard Arkham Batman thing, and even if I was, I would just be like my headcanon would just be like, this doesn't count. Like, it doesn't even matter. But I don't know.
It's the same way that I true
Batman kill
Infinity
the
War.
entire Justice League anyway.
Yeah, in the comics, I don't know about that. I don't know if he kills them, or maybe somewhere else.
He's
maybe?
able to.
Yeah.
He has contingencies for all of them.
Yeah,
that's what the whole Tower of Babel was based on. So,
But
you guys honestly think you're going to get one up on
Harley
Batman?
Quinn?
Sorry, that ain't happening.
Well, remember the other thing that people are pissed off about this game is how Poison Ivy has been done. That she came back as this fat bratty kid when in the comics, and this is what I've seen, because I don't read American comics, but from what I've seen in the comics that people have posted, she's supposed to resurrect but come back as like this as a full grown woman,
An adult.
So to see it executed like this, it really pissed people off. And also, Poison Ivy's
wasn't Harley
good.
Well, wasn't Harley also like hitting on a 9-year-old Poison Ivy?
Yeah, you kind of had that going on too, which is rub people.
Not to mention this child version. Actually, if you do a side by side with Greta Thunberg, you actually see that
it looks like Greta Thunberg.
That Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
it does. It's like. I love that, dude. That's awesome.
I know, he's so awesome.
But yeah,
that's stupid.
Rad brings up a great point real quick before we go over to our next topic here. Do you think that they're going to use any kind of AI voice with that next project here, or has he actually like recorded this before his death?
I think
they said that
if he wants them to, then I don't. The problem is I don't see anything wrong with it if he wants them to. I just don't like the idea of people using dead people's voices without their consent for like projects that they might be opposed to and stuff. I don't know.
I mean, let's
wait until we get the AI concerts. We're bringing Michael Jackson.
We already have AI concerts. I mean, what are that hologram Whitney?
Yeah. This is going to piss a lot of people off who are fans of Kevin Conroy, but a lot of people don't realize this. Kevin Conroy was, or if I do remember correctly, that is, he was way, shall we say, left-wing nut job when he started to get outspoken before his death. So it's like, look, the dude did a great job as Batman. I will not freaking dispute that. However, he probably supports this horse shit. So honestly,
so is he sort of in like the Mark? Is he in like the Mark Hamill category where it's like he's involved with all these like pressing projects that everyone loves, but he also supports the things that everyone hates too?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Kevin Conroy before his death, man.
Well, yeah, he didn't like Trump. He thought he was a narcissistic xenophobe and stuff.
Yeah, he was very much TDS in real life. And I'm sorry, as good as he is a voice actor, he probably fucking agreed to this shit when they pitched it. Because chances are they do have pitch meetings. They're like, we want to bring you in on this, and this is how you're gonna die. And I mean, they get a script. And that is how they do video games and shit.
Yeah.
Now, I've actually gotten into debates with a couple of friends of mine who are extreme fans of the DC universe and shit like that. And I mean, that's fine, man. But he agreed to this shit. Whether or not, it's like, yeah, they may also have an NDA and a freaking where they can't, or where they'll probably get in trouble if they try to back out of it and whatnot. But guess what? If you look at his life outside of Batman, he was a fucking idiot. I'm sorry if this pisses off people.
We're clipping that out for
Kevin Conroy was a fucking flaming SJW.
He was. I guess he was. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he was as annoying as Mark Hamill, but
no, he wasn't
Robert De Niro
as Mark Hamill or Robert De Niro. But the dude supported a lot of the shit that the far left does.
Yeah, I mean, he always came off as me as someone who's a bit more subtle to it, especially when you compare him to Mark Hamill, who just says like dumb things like every couple hours.
Yeah,
but
I stopped paying attention to like who is and who isn't like a Trump supporter because all of my heroes, most of them don't like Trump, so it's just like I don't even care anymore.
It's the entertainment industry. You just have to pretty much put it this way: you have to be surprised when there's somebody out there that's actually on your side at this point. I mean, that's really what
and if I find out that they are, then that's like I consider that a bonus because I don't really care what any of these people think politically. I don't care if they don't like Trump. I know my friends don't like Trump. I don't care.
Yeah. And like I said, when talking about entertainment,
that's all well and good.
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about entertainment, you do have to just assume that everyone is. I know it's a little bit delay, but no, you just have to assume that everyone there is, part of like the left wing community. Like I said, you have people who are a lot more subtle with their political opinions, and you have a lot of people who are just completely in your face with them. I think the ones who are completely in your face with it are a little bit more irritating than the ones that's like, oh yeah, I voted for Obama, but I'm not telling you to go die or anything like that 12 times a day on X. So
yeah.
Well, here's the thing though. They or Kevin Conroy and all them, they can vote for whoever they want. I'm not saying they can't, but what I am saying is that some of them got so freaking nuts that that shit started bleeding into their work.
Yeah.
So when it starts to bleed into their work, that's when I basically say, I can't support you, man. You are nuts off screen and now you're nuts on screen, and it really is just unappealing to watch.
I'm about to say, what conversation are you listening to, Spencer? It's like you went way to the left.
If Kevin Conroy's gay, I knew he was gay years ago before he even came out.
Yeah. We were talking about that. We were just talking about just like basic political
opinions. He was gay back in 2000. I knew Kevin Conroy was gay back in 2000, man.
Well, somebody in the chat asked if the game will do poorly. I think so, because nobody's reviewing it because they didn't get any review copies. So there's not going to be people buying the game because they don't know whether it's good or bad.
Well, didn't it get pulled like an hour before or like an hour after their
and the game got
early
so people
release?
people paid $100 for early access, and they couldn't even play the game because the game got taken down, because the game is always online, which means that when they do like updates and stuff like that, nobody can play the game. And so a bunch of people wasted their money on early access. What complete waste of money. So everybody's upset about that. They're upset. People are upset about them not sending review codes to IGN and a bunch of other journalists, because for some reason, I guess the developers were expecting bad scores. So they're trying to cover that up. They're also pissing off. Well, they're not pissing off fans, but all the leaked spoilers are pissing people off. I think the game's gonna bomb. Honestly, that's my guess.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna sell. Yeah,
like I said, all the reaction to it I've heard so far has not been good, so I wouldn't expect there to be a whole lot, especially with the videos that are going out there. And that's kind of the tough thing with selling, like, games that kind of rely on like one story kind of offline or whatnot, because once all the YouTubers like put all like the clips and whatnot, once it all goes viral, like on Twitter or on X, so it's like it's very short shelf life after that, I've noticed too. So that's probably another difficult thing just with the game in general. Then of course the negative press hasn't helped it either. So
neither did the cut jobs either. There is that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we're doing great. We're in the Biden boom. So
what cut jobs?
The several ones in the video game industry.
Oh yeah.
No, we're in the greatest economic recovery of all time. I mean, record low unemployment. I mean, it's the best economy in the world. I don't know what you mean.
From what I heard with the Microsoft situation, that was planned. By the way, this was all planned from the start. So they have become the master of access for a reason. And people were celebrating the Activision Blizzard stuff. Well, it's probably going to be more beneficial in the long run because they cut out a lot of the toxicity from Activision and Blizzard, including the head of
Hopefully.
The Overwatch team is completely gone, which was probably the smart thing to do considering all the fuckery that happened with Overwatch 2, especially. And I know the Call of Duty team got cut down a lot too. But
yeah, like I said, it's going to be a bloodbath in the media in the next few months, because we're at the point now where people can no longer pretend like we're not doing too great as a country right now. I think a lot of people are going to be out of work here in the next several months. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. So keep an eye on that aspect of the story. But let's jump ahead into a big story that has broken so much news here in the last week. And this is just an absolute snowball. Vince McMahon, if you guys have been listening to our podcast long enough, you've probably heard a lot of details leading up to this whole situation. But this situation blew up over the weekend with new scandals, new lawsuits, and Vince McMahon stepping down as the board of directors from TKO. So let's rewind here just a little bit to kind of catch people up on how we got to this particular point. Over the last couple of years, there's been a concerted effort to bring down Vince McMahon, especially get rid of him out of the WWE, get him out of the creative, get him out of the board of directors and any kind of ownership role in the company. Last year, almost like about a year and a half ago, actually, there was a report that went viral. It got reported by like Wall Street Journal saying that, Vince McMahon over the course of the last 20 years had apparently used company funds to pay off NDAs, basically hush money, up to totaling about like $16 to $20 million. Now, of course, WWE is a publicly traded company, so because they're a publicly traded company, this was a big no-no within the corporate rules. SEC was a whole big mess. If WWE was still private, probably would have gotten away with it, but publicly traded, different rules. And as a result of this, he stepped down back in 2022. His son-in-law Triple H has essentially taken over the creative aspect of the company, so he's now running the booking of the shows and the day-to-day and things like that. A few months afterwards, however, Vince McMahon reportedly felt like he got some bad information, or perhaps there were some people in the company trying to sabotage him to get rid of him out of the World Wrestling Entertainment. So he decided to come back and sell the company. Initially, there was reports he was going to sell it to Saudi Arabia. He didn't end up doing that one. He ended up selling it to WMD PLC Endeavor, who owns the UFC. They combined WWE and UFC into one publicly traded group, TKO, and he's been on the board of directors since. Now, over the last few months, his power has greatly diminished in this company. He's still not in control of the day-to-day at the WWE. They're letting Triple H run everything, so he's basically just a board seat and a figurehead at this point. However, last week there was a report that got out there that one of the women that he was giving money to for an NDA for her silence came out and alleged a whole bunch of sexual misconduct, some abuse, and some quite literally sticky situations. And by sticky, I mean poop. And this is what was being alleged here with this new lawsuit. Vince McMahon has resigned. This was on Friday. This happened. This man resigned as the chairman of TKO Holding Groups, the company that was formed by Endeavor just last year. Said, I want to inform you that Vince McMahon and his tenured resignation from his position at TKO executive chairman and on TKO board of directors. Nick Khan said, Nick Khan is a TKO board member, WWE president, says he will no longer have a role in TKO group or with the WWE. Now, this comes on the heels of WWE making a $5 billion deal with Netflix in order to get the exclusive rights to Raw and other properties on Netflix as well. The Rock came out and announced he was joining the board of directors and that he was getting the name rights to The Rock back from the WWE. All of a sudden, this story comes out, and there was a whole bunch of allegations about what exactly happened here. They were saying that Vince essentially pressured this woman to have three-ways with him and John Laurinaitis. There was allegations that he may have pressured her to have sex with other wrestlers. Brock Lesnar's name got thrown in here as someone who I guess he was trying to get her to sleep with him in order to get him to stay in WWE. So now Brock Lesnar is implicated in this whole situation. John Laurinaitis is implicated. Then there's the real scandalous stuff saying that, apparently in a three-way with Vince and some other people that at one point in time during their escapade that Vince literally pooped on her head while they were having sex. And that obviously got a lot of people's attention here. This got so nasty and so ugly that Slim Jim came out and said that if you don't get rid of Vince McMahon, we're dropping our $20 million sponsorship deal with the WWE. Apparently other sponsors were willing to follow suit with that. So this is why Vince McMahon stepped down on Friday. As a result of this, the sponsors are staying with WWE at the moment, but everyone's having questions about how deep does this whole thing go? Who knew? I mean, how could this, like I said, basically almost another Harvey Weinstein situation. How could this guy have been getting away with this stuff for so many years and nobody knew anything unless people were just keeping quiet because it was Vince McMahon? Triple H, like I said, son-in-law, basically denied to answer any questions regarding this whole situation. He even goes as far to claim that he hasn't even read the details of the lawsuit, which I find very, very hard to believe, but that's kind of what's going on here. So if this thing actually does end up going to trial, if this doesn't get settled out of court, this could have big time implications within WWE. There's going to be a lot of fallout. Apparently Ari Emanuel is pissed and he wants anyone remotely associated with this whole story to essentially be gone. Yeah, so he wants everyone in any way, shape, or form associated with this story to be gone from the company. So he's going to be going after everyone. This has the potential to be very, very ugly. We're talking about the possibility of Brock Lesnar never coming back to WWE because of this story. He was supposed to come back last Saturday during the Royal Rumble. This story broke out on Friday. They pulled his appearance. He's canceled from WrestleMania. We don't know if he's ever going to come back to the company at this point. Like, this is a very ugly situation. Now, a couple things to note here before I shoot it back over to you guys. This woman, they're saying that part of the motivation for her to come out now is because apparently Vince was supposed to pay her $3 billion in NDA money. He stopped paying after $1 million. Apparently there's talks that, she may have broken the terms of her NDA, which is why he stopped paying her. So apparently she may have came out with these allegations in a way to kind of force Vince McMahon to pay out the rest of the money that was agreed upon in the NDA. So money is a factor here on this story based on that whole situation. I will say this. We're in a spot here with WWE, especially with this story, where it honestly can go either way. Like, this could be just, somebody within WWE or multiple people within WWE trying to use a scandalous situation to cancel Vince McMahon and get him removed from his own company. That could very well be the case. However, knowing the fact that Vince McMahon is a crazy, insane 80-year-old carny billionaire who's been involved with the wrestling business for 50 plus years, he could have easily have done everything that's been alleged in this whole fiasco here. So, like I said, it's very hard to say who's in the right and who's in the wrong here until we have more information. And we're not certain whether we're going to get more information or not, but this is where we are. Lofty, is he back? Let me put this down here for a second so I can see. I think Lofty stepped out for a second. He'll be back here. But Orange Hat, I'll start off with you.
Muted.
Yeah, I'll start off with you here, Orange. What is your thoughts on this latest development in the Vince McMahon saga here? Like, what do you think about essentially the allegations of them? Since they're trying to get rid of Vince McMahon for good here, and I think they might have done it.
Well, we all know that there's no greater way to basically torpedo somebody's life and reputation by Me Tooing them. We all know that I have a personal thing when it comes to the whole Me Too movement and whatnot. And this is the best way to permanently tarnish his name. Whether or not it happened or not, he's ruined. Because all they have to say is he did it. And unfortunately, in this world, that's good enough as a conviction in the court of public opinion. Now, this woman didn't do it, or if Vince didn't do this or do that to that woman, and she just is looking for a quick payout, she is less than human. She is fucking scum. And I say that because people who make those allegations and simply do it because, they want to ruin somebody's life or they want a quick payout, you are less than you are less. You're not fucking human. You are a thing. You are an it. You are not worthy to be called a fucking human. You are the scum of the earth that even the lowest fucking scum walk on.
Let me push back on this just from this instance here, because I'm not really disagreeing with what you're saying here, but I think we should look at the bigger picture here. Is that they've been trying to use these allegations to get rid of Vince McMahon now for 2 years. So it's not just a fact what this, I was going to say, it's not just a fact what this woman is saying. Is that, is this woman herself being used by somebody, let's say in a position of high power within the WWE, who's like, we need to get rid of this man, but he has too much power for us to essentially like remove him or fire him. We need something out there so that he'll go away, and they're using this essentially as a means to get rid of him. What do you think about that angle to it?
Maybe. I mean, it's from the text messages.
When it comes to,
like she went along with some of it.
Yeah.
And then maybe somebody got to her and like, I don't know. There's not enough information out yet. People are gotta wait to see the facts drop before we, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's probably way more evidence that hasn't been shown.
Yeah,
or there's nothing at all,
Yeah. And like I said, keep in mind, there's people out there who are obviously completely on social media right now, completely against Vince McMahon, but they themselves have wanted Vince McMahon gone for years. And like I said, people are just using this story as a means to get rid of Vince, which makes you wonder, is there actually any truth to the things that are being alleged of him here? Or is this our ticket to finally get rid of the old man who's been running this company for so many years? So it's like I said, it's really hard to tell who's really telling the truth here.
That sounds like a soap opera.
Yeah,
sounds like a soap opera.
Yeah, it sounds like some Game of Thrones battle happening right now.
Yeah,
well, Game of Thrones is like as a soap opera, sort of.
To do that just to ruin or to get rid of a person, I mean, not only do you gotta throw a lot of money at that, or you gotta invest a lot of money in that, and then you gotta hope it pays off. But here's the thing, honestly, if they really think that is the only way to go, just to fucking get rid of somebody that you don't like. I mean, didn't he freaking start up this whole fucking thing or whatever?
Yeah.
WWE.
Vince McMahon, he bought the company from his father like back in like the 60s or 70s, way back. I mean, he's been running since the Bruno San Martino days. In the 1980s, he exploded with Hulkamania, the Attitude Era in the 90s. Like everything about pro wrestling, what pro wrestling is today, is because of Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I mean, this is the way you guys want to fucking show your thanks to somebody who literally fucking set up and cemented the success factor for the WWF and WWE. That's just fucking reprehensible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like Harvey Weinstein, right? He built the Weinstein Company, and Weinstein has produced some of the best movies of all time: Pulp Fiction, English Patient, Scream, Good Will Hunting. And but that's not that's not a reason to. If somebody was being abused, like, you got to get rid of the guy, I guess. I mean, with Weinstein, it was pretty obvious, because of all of the detailed reports and things that came out. So I don't know. I don't know about this one though. I don't know. My issue is whether or not it was like all consensual or not, and then if it's like retroactively. Because I totally believe that he's like a degenerate. Like, it plays with like his personality kind of leads me to believe that, and then just in general, like, people with that much power probably can get away with doing whatever they want. So it's like
it's the question of how long were you going along with this before you decided you were the victim here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Then there's like the literal Amber Heard of the room with the poop.
Amber Heard, yeah, that's what I mean, like, degenerate. Like,
I don't know.
People do that,
I don't know what it is with billionaires and pooping on people, but we all know that there's an entire industry built around this in Dubai. A whole bunch of Saudi princes do very degenerate things here, and like I said, it would not shock me if it's true. I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, I can't believe Vince McMahon would do something." Like, I can believe it, but I just don't know if it's actually true.
Yeah.
Well, he looks awful. First off, I didn't recognize that picture. Is that a recent picture? That's scary.
Yeah, that was last year. That was right after they announced the merger here with UFC and WWE.
I don't know.
He dyed his hair and he looks like a 1920s like villain, like a Bond villain. That's essentially what he looks like now.
Oh shit!
Real quick. When did all of this take place? When all of these events take place? How long ago?
These allegations are apparently spanning back into the last 3 or 4 years. So,
all right. I would still say that it's important to reveal this information quickly, right the day or maybe the day after someone is doing something tawdry, illegal. I don't know. Waiting so long just leaves the person open to accusations of trying to be like a gold digger. I'm not saying that's what she is by any stretch, and that's why you need an investigation. But it's just so important. I've said this I've said this often. It's so important to tell your story right away, because then it's fresher and the other person needs the chance to defend him or herself. As for the specifics of this case, I think maybe people are focusing too much on that, on a certain element of it, than on what could be a pattern of abuse of power and abuse of a person. That's why you need the investigation. That I don't have much to contribute to this, but when something happens, speak out quickly.
This is something else that I've noticed as someone who still keeps tabs with what's going on in the pro wrestling world right now, is that there is definitely an effort right here, right now, that you're seeing about essentially taking all of these legends, all of these pro wrestling heroes within the industry for several decades, and essentially smearing them to the point where they can't be redeemed. Like, we've noticed this with Hulk Hogan, for instance. There's a lot of people online who hate Hulk Hogan now because 17 years ago there was a sex tape that leaked and he got caught saying the N-word in the sex tape. So ever since then, people have just been calling Hulk Hogan a racist, even though he has apologized for it many times since then. They're not accepting that apology. So there's going to be people who, when Hulk Hogan dies, they're going to celebrate his death because in their mind, he's just this horrible racist, right? Ric Flair's another guy, a big name in the world of pro wrestling. excuse me. And now he's being associated with, sexual assault because some of the old stories about how Ric Flair would go on the airplane during international trips and whip his dick out within his robe and whatnot. People are saying that, oh, this is sexual assault, this is sexual harassment, even though he was doing it to get a pop out of a bunch of guys, which if you want to talk about the weirdy in that, I mean, look, it is pro wrestling business. I think a lot of people who are probably only started watching pro wrestling in the last 5 years or so are completely shocked by just how degenerate the pro wrestling business actually has been for quite some time. But like I said, Ric Flair's reputation is taking a hit. Vince McMahon's reputation is taking a hit. Hulk Hogan's reputation is taking a hit. It's only going to be a matter of time, and who knows, with this case going forward here, there could be some other names that could be going down here too. I mean, like I said, Triple H, he's proclaiming his innocence right now, but this is the man, Vince McMahon's son-in-law. This is the guy who's been Vince McMahon's right-hand man for the last 30 years. Are we to believe that he knew absolutely nothing about any of these instances over the course of the last 20, 30 years, that he was just completely innocent in this whole thing? Maybe, maybe not. But if this goes any further and he gets implicated in this could be a whole or a house of cards that you might have started with trying to bring down Vince McMahon. You could end up bringing down the entire company or a whole lot of other names as a result of this if we go any further here. So, yep. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. Like I said, WWE, they're trying to make everyone focus on the Netflix deal and not answer any questions about Vince McMahon at the moment. But like I said, there's already been a number of people implicated in this whole situation, and we're right around the time of WrestleMania. They do not need any other bad press heading into WrestleMania. Apparently last night CM Punk got hurt. He's out for WrestleMania. And they also have a lot of bad news as far as though that whole thing goes too. So yeah, WWE does not need any more bad press, but I think that this one's probably too wide open to close again. So we'll see how this one goes. Any final thoughts on the Vince McMahon topic here before we move on to our next story?
I don't know much about wrestling. Can't really contribute. Right? Yeah, I used to follow UFC a lot, but and Pride fighting back in the day, but then not wrestling.
I've pretty much been lost on almost all the conversations that are going on.
Well, let's go ahead and shift this over to a conversation that you would definitely know a little bit about, and that is our girl Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's going to the Super Bowl, baby.
It's the it's the Kansas City Swifties versus the 49ers.
Yes, last Sunday, the Kansas City Swifts beat the Baltimore Ravens 17-10. Baltimore absolutely choked super hard at home in the AFC Championship game. Kansas City's now going to their 4th Super Bowl in the last 5 years, I believe it is now. And everyone's already crediting Patrick Mahomes to be better than Tom Brady, when it's like Brady just beat Patrick Mahomes twice, including once in a Super Bowl. I don't know how we're already shifting to he's better than Brady. It's like, where have you guys been in the last 5 years? You've not been paying attention to this story at all. But Taylor Swift, like I said, saw her at the AFC Championship game in Baltimore. Kansas City is going to the Super Bowl here. Here's the video of her boyfriend, Travis Casey. I'm still thinking that this whole thing's a psyop, but here's the video of Swift here. This is going to play because it might be X all screwing up here.
X has bad. Yeah, I know.
It's not
buffering.
Great.
You gotta refresh.
Yeah, I'll just pull it up over here. Yeah, so there's our girl. Now look, I've been saying this here for quite some time, and I think we've gotten to the point now where people are finally giving in and seeing this as a reality. I think they've been calling this ever since September, that this whole thing is going to end with, in 2 weeks in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, the Chiefs are going to win another championship, and it's going to be the final shot. It's literally going to be Taylor Swift holding the Lombardi Trophy in Las Vegas, and all the Swifties online are going to be going absolutely insane about this. So now there's a whole side conversation here about Taylor Swift saying that, are conservatives being too upset about Taylor Swift's hijacking of the NFL? And people are now trying to come up and have this whole debate about whether we should be upset about Taylor Swift or not. It's like, look, here's the reality of the situation. This pretty much goes into consistently what we've been saying about the sports world for years. People only watch sports for sports. They don't care about the sideshow. They didn't care about it when it was all Black Lives Matter and kneeling during the national anthem several years ago, and they really don't care about this whole Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift situation going on right now. It seems like every single game you watch is always referring more to what's going on with her, and people are just like, look, I just want to watch a game. I don't care about this. But guess what? Taylor Swift is the biggest star in the world right now, so you're going to get it whether you like it or not. So there's a second part to it. This is kind of the one that we're going to close with here in the second part, but I just want to get your general thoughts on Taylor Swift going to the Super Bowl. Will she hold up the Lombardi Trophy? Nerdigans, I'll start off with you.
Well, I saw this from a couple of accounts over the past week, the past few days, is that Taylor Swift is making the NFL a shit ton of money, and that's why they're showing her so much. But the consensus on NFL Twitter, because I've been a part of that community for a long time, I think since like 2012, I've been part of that community. They've been saying that they don't give a shit about Taylor Swift. They just want to watch the game. They're so over it. They're so over her. And like people are even more upset that Buffalo didn't win. Or Buffalo didn't beat the Chiefs, or the Ravens didn't beat the Chiefs. They're even more pissed off about that. But I would love to see if the NFL wants good ratings, have the Chiefs lose. See what happens. You will have so many people watch just to see the Chiefs lose. And in regards to the Mahomes convo, oh my God. So they're trying to say Mahomes is better than 5-time MVP Peyton Manning, undefeated in the Super Bowl Joe Montana, 7-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady. Like, you're trying to say Mahomes is better than that?
Ugh.
Like, even if he didn't have the Super Bowl rings, I mean, if he had like as many MVPs as like Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning, then you can maybe have a conversation about that.
It's like, even from a purely football perspective, Brady just beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl like 2 years ago. It's like, did we forget about his 7th championship coming against Kansas? And it wasn't even close. It wasn't even a close game. It's like, what are we doing here?
So people are blaming, it's the O-line's fault. It's like, yeah, if you don't have an O-line, no quarterback can survive. Have you seen the Panthers?
Well, in fairness, I think they probably forgot because they were.
When it
too
comes to
busy
Brady,
focusing
I'd
on,
question
80 on
anything.
Brady,
yeah. Well, a lot of people hate Brady for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, there's the cheating scandals from the Deflategate, and then
I don't like Brady because he's a fucking cheater. Yeah.
Put it to you this way.
No, they actually confirmed he fucking cheated.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've hated Tom Brady. I'm an old school Tom Brady hater. I hate him ever since he beat Carolina in the Super Bowl back in 2004. That's how long I've been on the Tom Brady hate bandwagon. But I've gotten to the point where, look, once you start winning enough Super Bowls, I can't deny that you're the best football player who's ever played. Like, it's just what it comes down to. I don't have to personally like you, but the man has 7 Super Bowls, and for a while there, the most anyone ever had was 4. So it gets to a point where you just have to accept the reality there.
Well, you're saying that Deflategate was more the exception than the rule.
I think Brady's
anything he does after,
or
anything he does after is, I'm sorry, everything he does after is absolutely put into question.
Mm-hmm. Well, in fairness,
because
yes, 80 for Brady definitely was
cheating.
something you could put.
Yeah,
that was questionable. I first want to. I would watch the Super Bowl if I were guaranteed that Taylor Swift would sing "Lift Every Voice and Sing." Let Taylor Swift sing the Black National Anthem. That I think is that would be the greatest moment in television history. It would rival Whitney. Yeah, it would rival Whitney Houston singing the the non-Black national anthem at this point.
Black Twitter will literally have a riot if that happens. First of all,
then they should fucking do it.
Black Twitter is still upset that Travis Kelce was dating a black woman before he started dating Taylor Swift, and they're still trying to make this narrative that Travis Kelce fumbled with this black woman who we didn't hear about until like a few months ago after he already started dating Taylor Swift. It's like that's how vindictive and petty these people are. Can you imagine Taylor Swift singing the Black National Anthem? Like there would be.
I want her to do that. I mean, why are we limiting just black singers to sing the quote Black National Anthem? Why can we not have a true joining.
Well, because there is no
of
black
peace.
national anthem. In all honesty,
Let's just have this uniting moment where Taylor Swift will sing "Lift Every Voice and Sing." And I'm sure she will do it. Well, I don't know. I don't like her. I really don't like her music. And I'll be blunt. I'd never heard of Travis Kelce or his brother until Taylor Swift started stooping him. So it's of no interest to me for this game. I do think, though, and this has been going on since the beginning of their relationship, or at least until the beginning of the season. I mean, starting at the beginning of the season, that there's been way too much focus on her, not and her relationship with Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce? Travis,
Kelce.
whatever. They're all the same to me.
Yeah.
There's too much focus on their relationship and her appearance at the games than there is on the games. And I think there's the football fans, genuine football fans, don't care. All the Swifties who are watching football now because she might appear. Again, it's very cult-like. And we've seen the video of her concert movie where they're dancing and almost in a spiritual manner. It's bizarre. But is she going to hold up the trophy? Why should she? Why does the girlfriend of any player get to hold up the trophy in triumph?
Because she's Taylor Swift.
But if this has never happened for any wife or girlfriend of any,
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I don't think it is either.
I guarantee you, if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, you're going to see a picture of Taylor Swift hugging the Lombardi Trophy like Michael Jordan after he won his first championship against the Lakers in '91. It's going to happen.
I know.
Well,
if it is,
it's going to just kind of solidify the idea that people will watch her in anything, regardless of anything else. I don't understand why so many people love her, worship her, almost literally. I couldn't tell any of. Well, I have to give some leeway. I would not be able to tell many of her songs one from the other. They all sound the same. And maybe instead of showing that clip of her holding up the Lombardi Trophy, they should show that clip of her being run down in Amsterdam. Maybe that would make them happy. Maybe that would make America happy.
Yeah, this is going to be Taylor Swift in 2 weeks. I guarantee that this is going to happen. A lot of people, I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's that? Good. Oh, I was going to say I'm a Chargers fan, so I don't like the Chiefs anyway.
Yeah.
But I think this is all blown out of proportion in every direction. I think social media is running with it. A lot of political people are hijacking, pretending to be NFL fans now, and like coming up with conspiracy theories that don't exist. Like the NFL, like the government is rigging these games. Like none of those people watch the NFL. They don't know about athleticism. They don't understand how games work. I watched that game. There's nothing rigged about it. It's just a popular. It's like the most popular singer of all time. She could be dating anybody, and they would have the same problem as she could be dating somebody on any team in the NFL. It wouldn't matter. I don't know. I think this is all blown out of proportion. I think it's stupid. I think people. I don't understand the. She's annoying. Like what else is going on? Like I don't get it.
I will push back on this one instance. Yeah. I don't know if these actual games are rigged or not, but I have made note of this over the last couple of years. The point shaving that is going on in these games ever since the additions of like DraftKings and MGM and all these other betting outlets are so blatant now. I think I mentioned this last year. What was it? The Buccaneers and Cowboys game, the playoff. I think that might have been Brady's last game where the Cowboys kicker missed 4 extra points in a row, and the over-under just happened to be 45.5. And because he missed 4 extra points, the over-under hit exactly 45. That's like,
Vegas,
you can't tell me there's not blatant point shaving going on right now.
Vegas just has that down. They know exactly. It's all statistics. It's not point shaving. It's not kickers missing on purpose. It just doesn't happen in the NFL. I mean, if you want to talk about referees, that's like the only time I can think of like maybe there's some, I don't know, bias, but like players are not doing that. Like, there's no evidence that's
they got busted. Players have gotten busted with gambling, though. Just
gambling, sure.
Over the last couple of years,
yeah.
But like, if we're talking about like, it just doesn't happen in the NFL.
I don't know about the NFL, But when it comes to things like baseball, like not the major leagues, but the AAA ball that is in my hometown and whatnot, when the home team, this actually happened, folks. When the home team wins by a huge margin one night, they play the next night against the same team, mind you, and then they lose without even scoring a point. The other team basically wins like 15 or 16 to nothing. I'm sorry. There's
that happens
some
all the time in
really
minor league
shit
games
going on.
No, that happens all the time in minor league, even more so in minor league because of the lopsided.
What, where they all just suddenly go retarded in the next game?
Well, no, you have in minor league sports, you have this happens all the time where you'll have one dominant pitcher, and then the rest of the team is like much lower on in terms of like value to the team. So one night he'll have a pitcher shutout, and the next pitcher will come up, and he's way less talented because they're not all in the MLB. Everyone's sort of at the same level, so it's much more lopsided in the minor leagues.
It wasn't really just the pitcher, though. You actually should have, or you actually have to watch the game to understand this.
Oh, okay.
These players were the same roster playing the best game of their life the first night. The next game, it was as if they all had freaking gotten high on hallucinogens.
Well, that might also be a sense of overconfidence. Like we smashed the team this night. We're not going to. They're not going to give us any trouble, and then they get sloppy.
That happens all the time in sports.
It does.
Yeah, like they'll score no.
I've seen it too. Look, there's a AAA team in my hometown. I'm a season seat member. Just throwing that out there. So I've seen it where they've botched one game and then come back and done vice versa. It's nothing outrageous. It's frustrating, but I don't think that there's any wild conspiracy going on.
I think in terms of conspiracy, though, and a lot of people have been thinking this on NFL Twitter for a while, is that that the refs may be gambling because of some of these calls. These are critical calls that are happening too. For game winning or game make or break it calls. So that's where people are speculating on that. And the problem is the NFL doesn't do audits on the refs, every year, which is a huge problem. Probably should be doing that to see which refs are actually doing their job and maybe even investigate the ones where it seems like really suspicious.
Or they might be incompetent.
Well, you have even coaches coming out, and I think even some owners are coming out too. And they are just noticing the blatancy that's going on, incompetence that's going on with the reffing. I mean, look at the Chiefs. The refs have been favoring them for the past, at least this year. I don't know if they were doing it last year too, or I don't remember.
I will say this, the funny thing about, over the last 10 years or so, the whole idea of we didn't want to do professional sports in Las Vegas to begin with. It's like, we don't want to get mingled up in accusations of, point shaving or match fixing and stuff like that because of all the, I guess, enticing for gambling here. But we essentially completely embrace gambling now. So now we have professional sports teams in Las Vegas. We're at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and people act like that the whole concern about gambling is just completely gone away. It's like, no, there's probably a lot of people who are gambling on games. Some of the games they're probably playing in as well. So, who knows? But if you want to talk about match fixing, I don't know about American football, but if you look at soccer, there's some definitely some fixed games going on over there. That's notorious for having some matches, especially the halftime lines. It's like, get out of here. It's like, no, there's no way. This not the mob's not involved in this stuff. But
no, FIFA's very, very corrupt, and that's starting at the top too. It's just been corrupt for a very long time, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
Remember when Qatar just got what was it, the World Cup for just no reason whatsoever? A country that's not even known for soccer at all, just getting the bid. It's like, I wonder how that happened.
Same with Russia. That was shady as well when Russia got the World Cup, and of course that's on top of Qatar using, was it literal slave labor?
Yep.
To build the stadiums. So
and no one's ever, people have brought it up, but like when people talk about reparations and stuff like that, it's like, dude, no, you realize that Qatar, you literally use slaves to build their stadium and you haven't said crap about it. So that's when people are being hypocrites.
Yeah, that people conveniently forget that there's still a massive amount of slavery going on to this very day as we're talking right at this moment, but we'll just ignore that for the sake of the argument. And we do have one more Taylor Swift story to talk about here. This is going to be our closer, and I'm kind of somewhat personally implicated in this because Taylor Swift apparently went after a certain Twitter user for posting explicit AI art of her on his social media page. So some of you guys may not have heard the Twitter account Zubear. He's a guy who's on Twitter who, I follow him, he follows me, and the best way to describe him is that he's basically a troll. His whole gimmick is that he just goes out there and posts pictures of white women to make Black Twitter upset. That's literally his entire gimmick. He calls himself a milkman, and he'll just post videos and pictures of hot white women all the time, and people absolutely despise this dude. So about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, he posted AI art of Taylor Swift at the Kansas City Chiefs game in a very, very compromising positions. You guys may even saw one of them in the group chat and whatnot. And people saw these pictures and absolutely went ballistic over this one. This got everyone's attention. It got picked up in national news media. The White House talked about this. Even went as far as Twitter. Elon Musk went as far to censor results of Taylor Swift so that people couldn't see the pictures that were circulating online based on this whole argument. So yeah, now everyone knows who Zubair is. He had to private his account because he was getting so many people trying to dox him or whatnot. People were putting out, oh, this is his real name, he's in Canada. I was like, well, first of all, he's been telling everyone his real name, that he lives in Canada for a while, so that's not new information. But I guess they thought that nobody else knew that, so they thought that they were successfully doxing him when they really weren't. But yeah, people were going absolutely insane over this whole story. This made headlines everywhere. This was the 24th, so about a week ago. Offensive images of music sensation Taylor Swift surfaced online. The pictures were generated by artificial intelligence. They were doing their social media user here with the Twitter handle Zubair, whose real name is Zubair. Like I said, guy lives in Canada. Everyone knows it's not new information, but it said the images were on such severe traction online that it enraged fans of Taylor Swift, primarily with the pornographic nature of the images. For instance, one of them showed the lover Saunders engaging in sexual acts. Now, I heard that apparently there were even some more explicit ones out there. I did not see those. There was only 2 specifically that I saw from him. So if there were some other ones in there, I don't think that he was the one that was responsible for it, but this is the ones that got caught online. In the wake of this, the AI, it said the AI image is taking over. The identity of this person's scandalous account, I love that they call it a scandalous account, forced him to turn his social media accounts to privates. Taking a step back. Like I said, this is blew up everywhere. They're essentially trying to dox this guy, but pictures ended up on 4chan and other questionable websites. The White House, the spokeswoman of the White House talked about how they might have to get Congress involved so that people can't create images without people's likeness and appearance, stuff like that. If the White House is talking about this just because it happened to Taylor Swift, these people literally got upset that somebody made AI porn of Taylor Swift. That's essentially what's happening here.
Asset. She's a government asset, dude.
All I know is that there is proof, in fact, that the White House is fully aware of this whole situation. So yeah, Zubair went from being a black Twitter troll in 24 hours became on the government watch list. So that's quite a glow up. That's quite a glow up in less than a week here.
Badge
of
honor.
The whole situation. Exactly right. So
I salute you, man.
So this is what the whole situation here is. And now when it comes to, I guess you could say, celebrity fakes, fake porn, that whole subsect has been around forever and whatnot. And there are people talking about that Taylor Swift was going to sue him and that she was looking at to seeing any kind of legal options of suing this guy. It's look, people have been doing this for quite some time. I don't know what kind of legal grounds you would even have to do something like this to him. Like I said, it feels like these people were just outraged by the pictures that they saw, and they felt like, oh, we need to do something about this right now, and then realize there's not really much you can do about it right now, especially as AI is progressing here. And like I said, a lot of you people were the same ones that kind of fast forward this whole situation of AI and didn't think once about the drawbacks. And if you think that AI porn is the worst drawback of this whole situation, you haven't seen nothing yet. So yeah, this whole thing has just been absolutely ridiculous here. And yeah, Zubair is getting a whole bunch of heat from a lot of people all over the country and other parts of the world right now too. So Lofty, I'll start this one off of you. What's kind of your take on the whole Taylor Swift AI art situation? Fair or foul?
I think it's I think it's shitty. I think any kind of like I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody I know. I think people are gonna troll and do whatever they want to do. The problem with AI is that anybody can do it now. So it's like this is a little bit different than Photoshop, where it takes like so many hours to conjure like one image of that. Like not many people can do that.
Yeah.
And AI in general is dangerous for sure. I think I don't know if she was trying to sue him or sue like Dolly or what Midjourney or who.
Somebody pointed out that he didn't actually create the pictures. He basically just stole them from like other websites, but because everyone saw the pictures through his Twitter handle, people just associated with him.
She might be trying to get AI regulations on AI at some point. A lot of people are want that to happen, and then so they're actually thinking Taylor Swift is like a good push to make it happen. And I don't know, maybe she can get something done. I don't know. I think AI needs to be regulated though. At some point it's going to get out of control and probably going to lead to some world wars at some point. And I mean this is funny. Like this is fun. Like I don't have a problem with like memes, like people making funny memes. I just think like that's funny, but like actual porn that is like indistinguishable from reality is like it's too much for me. I think that's dumb, and I think that kind of behavior is very childish. Like this is funny, but like come on, like you don't have to like take it further than that. It's just my opinion.
The way I see
Orange,
it,
what do you think about this?
Well, this is give me a minute to actually go through all this. One, I do think that it's in poor taste to do the whole porn part of it.
Yeah.
Two, shit, dude. All right, so two, she didn't patent her body, she didn't patent her voice, she didn't patent her image. So her image is public record and public domain.
Yeah.
Now and AI, all these fuckers out there were saying, "Oh, AI is the next best thing. You got to trust, or you could trust AI." Except that you got to understand. Wow, that's just disturbing. But anyway, you got to understand that when it comes to things like AI and even things like the First Amendment and whatnot, all these things have a dark side to them that are absolute. When you have AI, you're opening that door and everything in the dark corners of that room is going to be exposed as well. You open the door and you're going to have to deal with all the negative aspects of it. Now, do I agree with what they did?
Yeah.
No, I do not. No, I do not. Do I think that it should be
free
illegal?
Speech is not absolute in this way that you're. Well, maybe you are. Maybe
free speech is not absolute, or is not absolute in the way that if you make threatening or malicious things like that, that's not protected. However, this falls under free speech. This shit does fall under free speech. You can't freaking prosecute for it. And if the government does try to do legislation, anybody who is able to should sue the government for violation of the First Amendment. Because I'm sorry, folks, you all wanted to unleash this beast. You're going to have to take all of the aspects with it. Now,
like
do I think that there should be more regulations on porn and shit online? Absolutely.
Yeah,
they should force people to verify online.
Yeah, that's complicated because porn is considered free speech, and a lot of people want porn banned, or not, at least not on 13 plus websites like whatever they are, like Twitter,
which
and also having the ability to generate porn of anyone at all is maybe a problem. Like if you not just Taylor Swift, but like anyone. I mean, under the age of 18, that's going to be the fact that anybody can just do it at some point is probably going to be. There has to be regulations. I don't see like you have no choice. You have to regulate it.
Oh man,
So
this one's bad. This
Well-
one's really. I'm gonna have to put this one in the private chat. I can't even pull this one up.
Well, something I'm curious about is because California has revenge porn laws, so I have to wonder if AI was used for like revenge porn, I would think that would qualify under that law. I don't know if it's federal. I don't think it's federal. I think it's
revenge porn is not free speech. There's I think there
Well,
needs
no,
to
because
be-
that's malicious.
Yeah,
Right.
it's malicious.
Right, and I think what they're doing to Taylor is malicious, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's just
But then here's the other thing too.
Well-
It's like when they started going after Zubair just for posting the image on his Twitter account, and then they started censoring the results on Twitter. All this did was encourage more people to go out there and post even more AI art of Taylor doing even more horrendous things, like we just posted in the private chat there. But like I said, it's only going to make it worse when you try to when you try to hammer down on the situation. You only make like 1,000 times worse.
The Streisand effect. It's just drawing
right.
attention to.
But when it comes to
something.
morality, I don't think that matters. I don't think people care about the Streisand. I think that they like did people care about like when they started talking about banning slaves? Like, oh, more people are going to double down and buy more slaves. Like, no, it doesn't. The Streisand effect doesn't matter in that situation.
I don't know if that would be in the argument that
I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
slavery.
I don't think Taylor cares about the Streisand effect. I think people just want AI banned.
No, I just think
I've seen too is people just want AI banned when
Or
they don't
regulated,
know
not
the
banned.
context of AI.
Yeah. I'm just thinking Jim Caviezel actually when I see that.
Well, here's another thing, if I may.
Because I don't
It
want
looks
to
like
ban.
Jim
I don't
Caviezel.
want the government to be the only people that
If
have
I may.
access to AI. I don't want it banned entirely. I just think there should be restrictions to like pornography and stuff. That's all.
Well, that's already the case for like say
Well, here's another thing.
For Pixiv, because Pixiv, what happened for those of you that don't know is that under the AI tag, there were some Chinese sex traffickers that were moving actual child porn and I think it was necrophiliac porn as well.
Jesus, what is going
Through
on?
Pixiv, yeah, and this stuff is happening on YouTube as well. YouTube, they didn't bust it for some reason, but Pixiv they did, and that's why Pixiv has gone under all these regulations. So like when people are bitching about Pixiv, it's like, well, you got the credit cards companies to look into to take into account, sure, but there's also the fact that there was actually a porn ring going on, a sex trafficking ring.
Oh wow, that's wild.
It is.
Well, here's the thing, if I may.
That orange guy.
This photo here, where this shows and whatnot. If I was Taylor Swift, one thing I would do is take stock. One, does it actually resemble the realistic proportions of my body? Two, if it doesn't, why should I be upset about it? Because this is just giving people, or these sick fuckers, a fake image of me. If Taylor Swift hasn't had any nudes at all leaked, people do not know the full intimacies of
AI,
her proportions or her body.
AI, the whole point of AI is to perfectly generate what it's going to look like under the clothing. That's like the goal of AI.
They can't because it doesn't because one, it doesn't have
right, but they can get
source
very
material
close.
Sure, it can get close.
Yeah.
But if it's not getting or if it's not 100% accurate, should she honestly be offended?
Well, the
because
argument is
if
that,
she's getting offended, then she's
don't know.
confirming.
Yeah, like they don't.
She's
know
confirming if they may not, but if she gets offended, she's confirming that is exactly what she looks like in those photos.
No,
that's not true.
No, I don't think so. Look, I think that you'd have to be pretty naive is the word I will use to think that any of those images are legitimate and they are of her.
Oh yeah, the ones that are out currently.
Yeah, I'm not saying
I would say though that on some level there's nothing wrong with parodying her. She's not someone who should not be parodied.
No,
the pornographic aspects, that's the troubling part, because it is becoming more obscene. But images like this and well, not the one that you shared privately, but the other ones, they are pretty. I would say, I don't want to say innocuous, but they're not like, oh my goodness, there's gonna there's gonna be a scandal. Everything with Taylor Swift though seems to be drawing congressional action, like when Ticketmaster crashed because people were desperate to get her concert tickets. We needed Congress to step in. Now we need Congress to step in to save our beautiful princess from being mocked online. At a certain point, why is she the avatar to say of all legislation, and that
because
she can
she's an
influence
asset
election?
to him.
I mean, it's because she's
I'm not
famous,
saying,
but
it's the
that's
fact.
like,
No, there's been articles out there where the Biden administration is approaching her to basically be a person to try to rouse up registrations.
well, that's what every
they can win the
political
election.
movement does. Look what Donald Trump did to Kevin Sorbo.
I know, but here's another thing. All this started when she decided to finally end her political neutrality, or to end her
right. Well, that was years
ability
ago.
to hide her political neutrality.
But
she's
I
like, I can't stay quiet anymore. I'm going to vote for Biden. You dumb bitch. Now you're freaking opening yourself up to a lot of hatred or you alienated half your fucking fan base.
Well, why does anyone care what this woman has to say about
because
politics?
She has influence. That is
why does she have?
Influence.
Why does she have influence? Why does anyone?
Because every white girl under like 20 years old is absolutely obsessed with her, and that's why she has so much influence.
And not only that, they can easily use her. This has been speculated on. I'm not saying that this is true, but they could indeed go this route. They could use her to basically parrot false talking points of the government. Basically saying,
well, what
this
do you think
shit is misinformation, and if
that's
you
exactly
buy into it, you are in the wrong.
You would
by having her do that.
But you'd have to be pretty. You'd have to be pretty
I don't know.
weak intellectually to base your own thinking on
the majority of the look at the majority of the population, Rick. They are weak.
Everybody. Yeah, but on both sides. Like Andrew Tate is the right wing Taylor Swift. I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't even know who the fuck Andrew Tate is.
I'm just saying, like, he's very popular.
I don't even know who he is. So
I'm trying to think of. It's a hard comparison to find like a right wing Taylor Swift, because it's like there's nobody in the music industry who would be. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Ben
Kid Rock, you know,
Ben Shapiro,
Ice Cube, you know, pick Dave Chappelle.
Ben
like
Shapiro's
there's a bunch of.
He's a fucking nutcase.
But I'm just but like this is the only reason people are mad is because she's very popular. That's the only reason.
But
it would be worse if it'd be worse if this was Beyonce. The Bayhive is got the Swifties got nothing on them. They are scary.
You look at these
Beyonce
images
is political.
Yeah, you look at these images, and what would make anyone think that they are anywhere near legitimate?
Well, here's the thing.
Beyonce is an avid Obama supporter. Beyonce.
Well, Beyonce is an avid Obama supporter.
I just don't understand. To me, this feels like everyone's just getting outraged over it for no reason at all. It's like everybody's wasting their time because this happened with Beyonce. This happened with Jennifer Lopez. This happened with I don't understand. Like, it's just people just want to be mad.
Well, here's the problem. The reason I would offer this, Lofty, is that to these people, Taylor Swift again is a god. An almost literal god.
Well,
Putting up these images is blasphemy. Never mind something.
I know
like
that. I know
it's
that.
It's the same thing with Beyonce, though. Beyonce is a freaking god to people.
Or Nicki Minaj, or
Nicki Minaj too. Nicki Minaj fans are scary. Like they ain't no joke.
You guys should have seen what came out on Nicki Minaj recently.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know why people only just now figured that out. That's kind of been out for a while though. But now,
I know. But it's like a fucking 16-year-old. TikToker freaking outs Nicki Minaj.
I have no idea what was with Nicki Minaj, and I
Queen
really don't want to
of
know.
Grape. Let's just say that, Rick. You should
Yeah,
without the
look
G.
at our brother. That's all I gotta say. There's definitely some questionable things going on there, but
don't you
this
remember
is
Jennifer Lopez and A-Rod? Like that was a big thing, and nobody cared about it.
well, that's the problem. Like here in the United States, we live in a celebrity obsessed culture. Like no matter how you want to look at it, whether it's politics or entertainment, like everyone is obsessed with these celebrities. So when something bad happens to them, we act like something bad is happening to us. That somehow we need to step in and do something about it, right? And
I just kind of ignore it. I don't care about Taylor Swift.
Same here. I just don't care. I just like every time I see like the NFL post about it, I post like an I don't care meme because I just don't.
I might mute.
I think generally a lot of people don't care, but at the same time, I think Taylor Swift is on the cusp now of having like the most successful world tour like ever. Because like I said, every time she goes to these stadium tours, she packs in 70,000 people, just crazy obsessed like fan of her fans, and this is why everyone is out there trying to run for her influence. This is why Joe Biden and the Biden administration have been talking about they desperately want to see Taylor Swift endorse Joe Biden for president because they think that she's going to influence essentially her fans to make people vote for Biden in the upcoming election. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen once all this
most of her retard fans would vote for Biden anyway.
I'm sure most of they're
old enough to vote.
Yeah, most of her fans would probably vote for Biden regardless. I would find very few who would say, "Oh well, I'm not going to vote. I'm going to vote for Trump or someone else." Now that Taylor has endorsed this person, it's irrelevant. But I still think that you have to be pretty intellectually weak to want to have someone basically do your thinking for you, whether it's Taylor Swift or Beyonce or even someone on the right. If you're not capable of reaching your own conclusions based on your own thinking and your own sense of right and wrong, turning it over to Taylor Swift or anyone else is for me silly.
Yep.
All I need to know is who's Kid Rock voting for, because I need to know who to vote for in 2024. Kid Rock's just telling me exactly who to vote for in this next coming election. Yeah, I mean, this is where we're at now. My final thoughts on this whole thing is free Zubair. Zubair did absolutely nothing wrong. He didn't even promote the worst of these images. Like I said, there's far worse out there, and I saw the one that he posted that everyone got upset about. His was quite honestly tame compared to other ones that are out there. So it's unfair that he's getting all this heat for this. But final thoughts on the Taylor Swift story here before we go ahead and wrap things up here for tonight.
Watch the cat's butthole cut and then go to therapy.
I still don't care about Taylor Swift, and I hope the Chiefs lose. That's all I can say.
Same.
This is our life in 2024. The Super Bowl, we literally have to we have to root for either Taylor Swift or the city of San Francisco. Those are our two options.
Well,
I would say the same for the election.
City, but
I would say for the election,
whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's between a turd sandwich and a giant douche.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe
my
like
last thoughts are
that's what she said.
The Chiefs. The Chiefs are probably going to win regardless if Taylor Swift was dating Travis Kelce. So I think people need to relax with the conspiracy theory stuff. Like they're a really good team. They've been a good team. It doesn't make a difference that Taylor Swift is there. If anything, Travis Kelce had posted his worst year with I think like yardage, right? He didn't even break 1,000 this year. So
we just need to pray that her airplane arrives safely from Tokyo to was it Las Vegas, and just make sure that she gets there in time to sing the Black National Anthem.
That'd be great. Or the Chinese national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that, that would be so fucking hilarious. But they're probably just going to give her the halftime show.
No, that's
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift sings the Black National Anthem in Mandarin. Somebody put that in AI art.
Cider. We need you now. We need you, Cider.
Oh God, no.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we should go ahead and wrap things up here. This is actually a really fun show, and I'm glad you guys came out here. So this is the part of the show where I go ahead and let you guys promote anything you got coming up. Lofty, you're our guest here tonight, so you go ahead and get to start off this whole thing. Where can people find more of you? What you got coming up you want to tell people about?
Just my YouTube channel, Lofty Pixels. I think I'm doing an Oscar stream coming up either next week or the week after that, talking about all the drama or whatever around that. I don't know when, but I never know until like the day of what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but yeah, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. basically.
I'm pretty sure me, Rick, and Rob are going to be doing an Oscar stream when the actual awards go on. And last year was it was certainly an adventure. That's the best way that I can describe last year's stream. So yeah, definitely bringing some beer for this year's.
Yeah, this year's a little more exciting with Barbie and Oppenheimer and all that stuff. It's a little bit more exciting, but yeah, we'll see. And other than that, I like I said, Flashcast on Saturdays sometimes. Just kind of random. My schedule is all over the place, but yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It was fun.
No problem, man. You're free to come in anytime you want. Orange Hat, what do you got coming up, my friend?
Well, tomorrow night I have my last of the Nick Cage New Year single streams with Mara. We're going to be talking Face Off. Thursday I am doing a birthday stream around 8 p.m. Because it's going to be my birthday. I'm like 7 subs away from 1,500. So if anybody knows anybody, just like, I don't know, send them my link to my channel. Sunday is going to be the weekly recap. Don't worry, YouTube. I'm not going to be putting any of those items on the freaking live stream.
Yeah, don't flash any more guns on the stream. I think you've learned your lesson now.
Unless it's your arms, you can flash those guns.
Tuesday or February theme streams are going to be reboots or originals versus reboots for Tuesdays at 1:30 p.m. And then Tuesday nights, you can find me here on the Barroom Podcast.
All right. Rick.
Yeah, I've got more reviews and now I'm still thinking about running for office again, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah,
how many times do I have to tell you? If you're gonna run for office, you need to stop coming on this podcast. It's not helping your case.
Well, I don't know. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, stuff, reviews. And I need to work on the reviews for the remaining Best Picture nominees that I have not reviewed or watched. Wrap up my Echo series, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And maybe I'll bring back the haikus. I know everyone loved them, so there's that.
Did you see Anatomy of a Fall yet?
Yes, I did. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Zone of Interest. Sorry, I saw.
Okay, yeah. They're both great. Yeah, Anatomy of a Fall is one of the best courtroom dramas I've ever seen. It's really good.
Yeah, I've got the screener, and I need to watch that. That and American Fiction are the
It's weird. The French court is so strange. They let the witness be cross-examined by so they call a witness up and they cross-examine the defendant. It's random. I don't understand it.
That's how Napoleonic.
Oh, so the witness can actually ask questions. That's cool.
Yeah, the witness can like berate, like you talk to the defendant, like, you told me to do this and then I did that. Like I was like, whoa. And anyway,
interesting. Yeah,
fascinating.
Fucking European courts are weird, man.
That and American Fiction are the last two that I need to see.
Yeah.
There's still like 4 I need to see, and I'm not watching any of them. Nerdigans, so what do you got coming up, friend?
Besides trying to cover more anti-localization stories on my channel, which now I can do since I've finally mastered StreamYard. I'm covering anime and manga content every day on my YouTube channel, Nerdigans Inc., and I am causing massive chaos on Twitter, more massive chaos on Twitter than usual, since the whole localization discourse started, or this round, I should say, has started. So it's been fun calling out developers and localizers. But anyways, I've got more pieces coming out for Bounding, and we'll see how things with my financial situation are, because then I'll be back here on Tuesday if everything is all good.
Well, be careful. Like I said, you already saw what they did with Zubair, so don't push your luck over there. All right, letting you guys know what I got coming up for the rest of the week. Friday night, me, Rick, and Rob, and hopefully a couple other guests that I'm trying to bring on here on Friday night too. We're going to talk about the film Argyle, the new Matthew Vaughn film. We'll do a review on that one. That's going to be on Friday night show. Regarding the future of Friday nights past March, I'm going to be doing a baseball stream starting in pretty much the last week of March, and we're going to be calling Friday at the Park. We're still working on getting everything together for that one, but it's just going to be basically a Friday night stream where we hang out, talk about things, watch baseball, stuff like that. And then we'll do a movie review for the Barroom podcast, move that over here to this show. And then so that's what we got coming up on Friday. This Monday, we got the next episode of the Bible Lens podcast. I did last night's episode talking about Christian nationalism. So this week, the new topic is going to be, are Catholics actually Christian? And this is going to be, I'm pretty sure, a topic that's going to get me in a lot of trouble with a lot of different people, but I think it's one that's worthy of talking about. So that's coming up this Monday, and I might actually move that show to Sunday too. Like I said, we're still working out the details of that. And then, like I said, next Tuesday night, we'll be back here, episode 85 of the Barroom podcast, and we'll have more stuff to talk about. Hopefully, people won't be, I don't know, getting sued or getting canceled on Twitter or having poop on their head and stuff like that. Hopefully we get some good topics next week. So to everyone who joined us on our stream tonight, like I said, Pixels, Orange, Nerdigans, Rick, Spencer, Duke, Boba Fett, Rooftop, Vanya, Rad, Alex, Vanya, the rest of the folks, everyone who joined us here tonight, thank you for giving us another Tuesday night listening to the podcast. So hopefully I will see you guys Friday night, if not Monday night, if not next Tuesday night here on the show. So we got the same outro. I don't have a new outro. I just had a new intro. So here you go. Outro time. Wave to the crowd, everyone. Good night. Goodbye. Bye. Adios.
It's over. Go home.
Get the hell out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Okay.
Get out! Get out! You get the hell out!
Never mind who you thought I was. I'm Rick James, bitch.